Hello, good evening. Welcome to the Trails Radio Show. Thank you for joining us this evening. Today, my special guest is musician Mr. Terry Lawrence. Thank you, and join us in a minute. Okay, my first question to you is, how did you get started in your career? How did your career begin?
The child acting career or the music career?
Well, first the child acting, then we could get to the musician part.
Sure. When I was 4.5 years old, I was in kindergarten, and I started modeling for Catalina Sportswear at the Ambassador Hotel downtown Los Angeles. For Catalina, some shorts with different people, different types of wardrobe and everything. And then after that, some agent or lady passed a card to my mom of a top agent in Hollywood that handled all the child actors. And that's pretty much, we called that number, and that's how I got started. First movie was The Millionaire, where they used to pass out the checks, John W. Tipton. And, that's what started the ball rolling.
Yeah, do you still do acting now? Or that kind of faded away and you just do the musician?
No. After that, at 4.5, I did that, and then I got called for some commercials. I did Laura's Cutter's Peanut Butter commercial for the next couple of years. I did different types of commercials like Art Linkletter Show with Pillsbury and Franco-American Spaghetti. I used to do the live TV commercials, and then I was in a movie, Abbott Lou Costello, in 54 or 55, Dancing with the Henry. And I did that. I was in a movie, and then I was in, a couple years later, I got called for a part for Trooper Hook, which still plays on TV on AMC, Turner Classics, yes. And you can still see that movie. I'm a little Indian boy, and with Barbara McRae. Barbara Stanek is my mother in that movie. Part of it was filmed in Kanab, Utah, and the other part on the Gunsmoke set. We met James Arness and Hopalong Cassidy. And that same year, I also did a TV with Lone Ranger, which was very cool. All the action and everything at Corganville Ranch. That was very good. It's on Cozy TV and some other TV programs. That episode called Miss Aggie's Law. And so I did some other things. And I guess at age 11, they didn't have any parts for kids at that time. And the last thing I did, unless you were 17, then you could go back into it. But I did, at age 11, a 1961 Ford commercial in Burbank, out in the kind of like desert area, and with Veronica Cartwright, who is the older sister of Angela Cartwright, which was in Lost in Space. Veronica Cartwright was my age, and she later got into acting again. Of course, she became a big star. She was in 1980 Aliens version. I think she's the one that died in the spaceship, but her career blossomed and everything. And I just phased myself. I got out of it at age 11. So that's when it ended, 1961 for me.
Yeah, and then you became a musician. How did your career as a musician come along?
Well, when I was at age 6, when I was doing some of the acting, I also, with that first movie, bought a little Hammond chord organ. I think it was about $700 back then. And I started taking lessons on that, and I had an ear for music. I could hear, things with like the Pancho and Cisco TV series. I could hear the theme song. I could play it without, I hadn't taken any lessons yet. And so I just started doing that and take it for about 3 or 4 years. I took lessons, and then my parents, we got a piano, baby grand, and I started taking pop and classical and some other things on there. And I was in a couple of recitals at junior high, and then I guess at about age 15, when the Ventures and the Beatles first came out, I guess in 64, the summer of 64, I started playing professionally. I switched to guitar for a little while, played some surf music, some Beatles, and I think my first gig was at Shakey's Pizza Parlor for a pitcher of Coke and and some pizza. And there were some groupies from La Habra High that were interested in us, but I didn't have a car, so I guess we lost them. So, yeah, I started doing that playing in the clubs, and blossomed into a couple different groups, and started playing for the City of Hope for Cancer, with picture with another group that we have female vocalist and a male vocalist, and I was singing backup at that time, and we played we won some Battle of the Bands, and then later on I was in a even better group, and we were doing Vegas and playing at the Sands and the Rat Pack Lounge. I think Bill Medley was managing the group we had for a while, and we did a tour. We were on the road there and in Reno with Frank Gorshin, and then we went to Miami, or Dallas, and then Miami for about a month, and we played back-to-back 2 weeks with, shared the stage with Ike and Tina, and then Little Richard. The year 2 years before that, I was playing at Cinnamon Center in Long Beach, our group sometimes backed up the Coasters, the Drifters, and all those 50s and 60s groups. So, and Dick and Dee Dee and Bo Diddley and a lot of those groups back then. So I got into music and everything, and I was later on getting some 9-piece groups before Tower of Power. I was in a great horn group and started playing all different types of music, jazz, rock, and a lot of different places and stuff. And then I got out of music for a while, and then for about 5 years, and then got back into with show group and started playing Vegas some more. So yeah, in and out of my career, I've been playing music and doing that. And I had a day job. I worked for Beckman Coulter as an engineering technician, troubleshooting test engineer for their medical systems and manufacturing. I worked for Martin Marietta. And I guess at the end of 2006, I started getting back into music and stuff, and I phased myself back into that. And about 5 years ago, I went solo. I started doing my own thing and recording, and I've had some number 1, number 2 hits internationally with different tunes over the last 4 or 5 years, and I've done radio interviews and things with people at Boston Internet Radio, oldies.net, a lot of different stations and things, and doing really good. I've opened up my career into Palm Springs. I'm working with some people out there and trying to get some more tunes, originals, and stuff, working with somebody that may put me over the top. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, well, that's good you're still doing music. I like music, it lightens the soul, I think. Music is everywhere, so.
It sure does. It is. It's good for soul, relaxation, everything, sure. I agree 100%.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. What do you find is the most difficult being a musician? What do you find are some of the difficulties or challenges?
Some learning some new parts that are complicated sometimes for songs, or if you're writing with somebody, trying to figure out what you're the lyrics or the progressions of the songs to make them sound commercial enough to appeal to people. And also, if I do play a lot, then it's kind of tedious after a while. You kind of, after a couple of weeks, you kind of want to just back off and start getting back to the recording again. The recording's fun. I mean, once you're getting in there and doing that, that's, it's fun and everything. But and other tedious things about that, just carrying the equipment. Eventually, I'd like to get where we have people that roadies carry this stuff. Setting up and taking down, not so bad, but sometimes it gets boring. Yeah, that's about it. Everything else is fun. I mean, it's great playing on stage and performing for people, doing different types of music, R&B, jazz, rock and roll, country, swing, salsa, all types of music is fun. I mean, it's rewarding, and you, especially if I go out Palm Springs and I don't bring any equipment, some guys playing the piano, and there different people are doing their little show. You go in there and you do Bobby Darin or Beyond the Sea, or you can do Unchained Melody, whatever. It's fun. You're performing for the audiences and stuff like that. So you just mix it up with a different combination of things. We play keyboards and sing, or I go and just sing without doing that. So it's fun. It's really rewarding to do that. Now that I'm retired and everything, that's pretty much sporadically do that. Still kicking with my 5th album, working on that. I've got 5 songs finished. So yeah, it's fun. I enjoy it.
Yeah, that's the most important thing, having fun. If you're not having fun, then why are you doing it, You have to have fun and enjoy it.
Exactly. If you don't like what you're doing, you should find something else to do. Yeah.
Do you have any upcoming gigs or performances? I know you just said you're working on your 5th album. Do you have any upcoming gigs or...
Yes. I have November 9th, I have a band called Terry Lawrence and the Soda Fountain and his Soda Fountain Band playing a gig in Palm Springs it's a big show with Rob Carter from the Temptations is going to be there. We're going to be backing him on a couple tunes, and then I'll be doing my stuff with a gal, Sharon and the Chevelles. I've hired her as my second keyboard player and singer. Her and I together, we come out in front and do duets and stuff, and it's going to be really cool. It's called Senior Prom Revisited, and it's going to be a good show. I put together one of those about 10 years ago, so this should be really good this time. I have another gig. Let's see. I do play sometimes for my cousin who's in assisted living. He's got a bad back and dementia, and I've been doing that for a couple of years, 7 times a year. I just get on their piano and play some Frank Sinatra tunes or Margaritaville, and it's rewarding. People like it. It helps the people that have dementia and other problems. Make get some entertainment for them. They're happy, they smile, they know me, and it's fun. And then what other? I have a Christmas party in Palm Springs I'm going to do. I have a trumpet player that's played with a lot of top people. He was at the orchestra with years ago at USC with Herb Albert. He was the first trumpet. Herb Albert was the second. Anyway, this guy called me. He's got a 10-piece group called Topics. They're really good. They do jazz, Latin rock. They do Tower of Power. They do some reggae. They do a lot of different music. So I'm going to be joining them on some gigs. And I've got a duo coming up with another person that plays fiddle, country. He does Charlie Daniels stuff and his own stuff. I'm meeting up with him next week to get that going. And I'm meeting a lot of different people to open up gigs for me in the Palm Springs area. My agent's really good. She's really working with me. So, yeah, I have played a lot of different gigs over the years, but I do have things coming up. It's going to be nice. And then I've got a New Year's Eve party with that Topics group, and some more stuff I can't think of right now. But it's going to be fun.
Yeah, well, it's good to keep busy. It keeps you going, and you're having fun, and you're bringing joy to the audience that is listening, so that's good.
Oh, I hope so, yeah. Thank you. Yeah, it's fun. Yeah, I'm looking forward to doing those things and make people happy and get them up on the dance floor or just kid around with them. And I did last gig. I went to Palm Springs. It was so drab. People were doing opera or some other things in there, and a few with the piano player, and some of them weren't doing that well or something. And my agent said, "Why don't you get up there and liven up the crowd?" So I got up there and I did the '60s tune, "Itsy Bitsy Teeny Weeny Yellow Polka Dot Bikini." I sang that to the audience, and then right after that, I went into Great Balls of Fire, Jerry Lee Lewis, and played and sang and the audience. It was fun. And it woke up everybody, kind of like we woke everybody up and got everybody going again. So it was really good. I liked it. It was fun.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Well, Mr. Lawrence, thank you for letting me interview you. It's been fun talking to you, and thank you very much.
Oh, you're quite welcome, Trey.